St. Lucia as it is today was not always like this at every point in its history. Only 20 years ago, a secondary education was not attainable for every student who qualified. Only 20 years ago, St. Lucia guaranteed a universal secondary education to its incoming secondary school students. The short-term employment program was created to allow generations of citizens who didn't get a secondary education a chance of participating in a new, developing and growing St. Lucian economy that they were not sufficiently prepared for. On the other hand, the opposition galvanizes its supporters to view short-term employment as a handout. What does St. Lucia owe to the generations who, just by virtue of their age, missed out on some of the nation's developments?
It was a government which I led, through the then Ministry of Education led by Mario Michel, that brought universal secondary school education and made sure that every St. Lucian child got a place in a secondary school in this country. Never again did we have a shift system.
St. Lucia as a developing country has changed dramatically over the 46 years that have passed since the nation became independent. With education being a means of development, St. Lucia's independence brought the rapid construction of primary schools in each district and constituency. During about 2005 and 2006, St. Lucia universalized secondary education. Today, the island aspires to 1 university graduate per household. Even though the country made a pivotal change in 2006, there were some people who never had the privilege of experiencing a full secondary education. So what, if anything, is the nation's obligation to the uneducated or the undereducated?
We inherited a country in which significant numbers of our people never had the opportunity for a secondary education, never had the opportunity to learn a skill, that many of them could not have afforded secondary education. And we had a responsibility to ensure that there was fairness in this society, that there was peace, there was tranquility, and we needed to make sure that everyone, despite their status in life, had an opportunity to benefit from the policies of the government of the day, so that we can have social peace, participation, and our people would be able to join and participate in this economy.
Even in their campaigning for the upcoming general election, the opposition United Workers' Party refers to the short-term employment program, or STEP, as handouts, government spending which they characterize as creating dependency, as wasteful, and as unsustainable.
The politicians should give us a few sheets of plywood and a few sheets of galvanized, and we were able to build a home. But that is not cutting it for us anymore. And that is why we have to make a decision for the future. And a decision for the future is choosing between a political party who will say to you, we are giving and we will continue to give you. But what are they giving? Handouts. But then you have another political party that is saying to you, let us create. Let us continue to create. And that's the UWP.
They say so, unaware, willfully or otherwise, of the reason the program was created in the first place.
And of course, too, many of you will remember that it was the Labour government led by me that introduced STEP to provide a modicum of income to the poor and to the marginalized. And you remember, every time the United Workers' Party came into office, STEP was their first target. STEP was the first program that they abolished.
All things considered, her criticisms of STEP, like any other program, would be better addressed by redesign or expansion rather than misrepresentation and discontinuation. Despite the fact that secondary education being unattainable to most is a thing of St. Lucia's past, The citizens who were impacted by that fact are still among us in the present. For Choice News Now, I am Cianna Dalsan.